Awareness is the very first step, and it's a huge first step. So it's probably going to be really uncomfortable at first to make this realization. So if you realize that you're the boulder, let it be uncomfortable for a minute.
Hey guys, since you're tuning into this episode of Mom Talks with Krista, today's guest is going to be talking all about self-love and mindset. She is a mindset, mental health, and anxiety coach, and she's got some awesome tips to share about things that she teaches her clients about self-love. In this episode, we're going to talk about the difference between self-love and self-care, because I know you'll see a lot of different posts about that, especially on social media. So she wants to show you the difference between them. Also, why is self-love so important, especially as moms? I actually surveyed my group a while back to see what kind of things they wanted to see more about, and self-love was one of the top things moms wanted to see. So I thought it was so important that we had Megan Stoddard on our show today. I actually had her as a part of our summit a couple months ago, and she was awesome. And I was just so infatuated by all the information that she shared with me. So I can't wait to just dive right in today. We have a lot of information, so we're actually going to split up into two parts like we normally do. And today is going to focus a lot more about self-love and how moms can show themselves love and different steps they can take to instill that. So let's just dive right in, and here's Megan Stoddard.
Okay, we are here with Megan Stoddard, and she's going to talk all about self-love, and especially for moms. So it's a big topic. So just to get started, can you just tell us a little bit about you and your background and everything you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Megan Stoddard. I am originally from Idaho, currently living in Missouri. My husband is a student of physical therapy right now, so hectic. I'm a mom of two girls. One just turned 2, and then my oldest will be turning 5 very soon. So little girls. And yeah, so I'm a self-love coach. I got certified as a practitioner of NLP, EFT, hypnotherapy, lots of really cool stuff that basically gave me the user manual for the mind, which sounds really creepy to some people, but no, I cannot read your thoughts. It just helps me be able to help my clients get results even faster. So I'm a coach. I started off as a health coach about 6.5 years ago, and then just kind of shifted from there because I saw that like 99% of the time, if my clients didn't get the physical results that they wanted, it was because their mindset was not where it needed to be. And so I knew that I needed to help more people with the mindset side of things. And my background is actually a dancer. I've been dancing since I was 3. I got my degree in dance in college. I danced professionally for a few years. Dancers are very often like body, mind, spirit, kind of the whole connected aspect. So it was kind of foreign to me that so many people lacked that connection. So I really love helping people make that connection just because of my background. And I have come to the point where I've realized that it all kind of stems down to self-love. Like if you take any kind of action, if you have any kind of thought that provokes any kind of action, if it's not from a place of self-love, it's not going to be serving.
And how you talk about the mind and how it all works together. And I've seen it with fitness stuff as well. Like I've been a part of different like fitness challenges and kind of seen like if your mind's not all there, or your why or what you want to do, it's like you're not focused on the right thing necessarily. So as we kind of dive into self-love, can you just explain to everyone, all the moms watching, why self-love is so important? Because it's like we see it, but we don't understand maybe why it's so important.
So the first thing to I don't know if that was the right word to use there, but to distinguish, there we go, is the difference between self-love and self-care. They are two different things. They go together very well. They, play off of each other very well. But a lot of people think that self-love means taking bubble baths and eating chocolate and, doing all these things that make you feel good. And you should feel good. It is such a great thing to feel good, and we need to practice feeling good. However, if you're eating chocolate because you're feeling badly about yourself, that's not self-love. Self-love is a mindset. It's not an outcome. Self-care is an action. Self-love is a mindset. So when you do something because you love yourself, that is self-love. So when you do a workout to celebrate the fact that you have a body that can actually move, that is self-love. If you work out because you hate the way your body looks, that is not self-love.
I think that's so important what you just said, because we see all these self-love posts and ideas, but we don't really see the breakdown of the mind and how, like, like I think that what you just said about the workout is so important. Like, why are you doing the workout? Are you doing it for you, or do you feel bad about someone made you feel bad, so you're working out? It's like, that's awesome what you just said. So what are some different ways that moms can practice self-love? Because I'm sure a lot of moms are watching and they're like, I have a newborn right now. I have 2 little kids running around. I'm so busy. How can I do this? Or, what will I get the most benefit out of?
So I love this. So first of all, stop looking at what everyone else is doing for self-love. That's the first step. And stop doing it for your kids. Listen, I love my kids more than anything, but I have to start with myself. And I mean, I'm not that far removed from having a newborn. I still remember very clearly what it's like to have a newborn. And self-care and self-love, the things that I did to nourish my relationship with myself when I have a newborn is different than when I have my baby sleeping through the night. When I had a newborn, the way that I could show myself a little bit more self-love was having more compassion, in the sense of, it's okay if I take 3 naps today, and offering myself some grace. That's what it looked like for me, was offering myself more grace and compassion. And again, it's all coming from my mind. There are some things that you can do as far as like physical acts, and that's going to look different for everyone. So you have to stop looking for answers externally and just trust that you know the answer. Everyone has, I don't know, I feel like, in today's world, everything has gotten very masculine and we're looking for answers. We want like strategies, we want steps, we want guidelines, we want a roadmap on how to achieve self-love, on how to achieve these things that are very feminine, and it's great to have the masculine, but we also need to not forget the feminine. We are women, are we not? We have this intuition that is deeply embedded within us, and some of us have just forgotten how to use it. So all you have to do is start practicing it. Take a breath, listen to your thoughts, listen to what's coming up, and just realize what you're drawn to. Whether that means I'm going to just read a book for fun for 5 minutes because I like it. If that's going to make you feel good and bring compassion for yourself, then do that. Or if it means letting your baby cry for 5 minutes so that you can go to the bathroom in peace, that can also mean self-love. Maybe it means just standing outside on green grass, barefoot, by yourself for even 30 seconds. Having these things that help you reconnect with yourself for yourself. I hear so many moms saying, well, I want to, because again, I've been a health coach for so long. So a lot of my analogies, we'll talk about the fitness, but this applies in all areas. But a lot of moms would come to me and say that their why for wanting to work out was so that they could have the energy to play with their kids, so that they could show up to be a better mother. And that always made me cringe a little bit, because if you're doing it for your kids, then that's an external source. But if you do something for yourself, then you are naturally going to have more energy. You're going to naturally feel more like yourself. You're going to naturally just love yourself more. And then you will naturally show up at a higher elevation, at a higher vibration for your family without having to do anything extra. It's not going to be draining. It's going to be exhilarating. So just listening to your intuition, the answer to how to get that self-love.
Whoa. Yeah. My mind's like blown, because like I've never heard it quite this way, but it's like all making sense, because I think so many times, like what you said about don't compare yourself to other people, like, because you see posts that's like 5 tips for self-love, and it'll be like, take a warm bath, eat chocolate. And so what if people, and then, so I've heard people be like, well, I don't like baths. It's like, so, they see that and they think that they have to do that, or that applies to them. So I think it's so powerful what you're saying about, what you have to do it for you, do something that you enjoy, even if it's a minute, 2 minutes, whatever that is for you.
Yeah. And something to do with those posts as well that you see, because I've shared posts like that before as well. Like, here are, 5 ways that you can practice self-love. You don't have to immediately dismiss them, but look at every time you see a post like that, just take it with a grain of salt. I say the same thing to whenever I have a friend becoming a mom for the first time. Every piece of advice you get, just take it with a grain of salt and apply a healthy dose of intuition, and you'll find your answer.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it goes back to what you're saying. People want a full like guideline of what to follow and structure, and it's like, read something and then see how it applies to you, what works, what doesn't work. So you've also talk about, which you have an awesome feed on your Instagram.
Thank you.
Super helpful, just like the tips you share and the knowledge you have behind everything. So I saw one post where you were talking about creating ease and flow. So what does that mean? And then how can that be created?
I love this. And if anyone wants to dive deeper in this, I actually did an entire IGTV about this. But so the analogy that I love to give with creating ease and flow, because I used to hear this term a lot. Like I've been reading in the personal development world / into kind of the spiritual side of personal development for a while now, and I would hear this term a lot, ease and flow, to the point where it's kind of like, when you hear the same word over and over and over again, it just kind of becomes white noise almost. And then one day I read it again and I just like stopped. What is it? Like, what even is that? Like, it sounds great and beautiful, but like, how do I have ease and flow? How do I live from that place? Because I want that. I'm an Enneagram 9. I am very motivated by peace. And so ease and flow, that's where it's at, right? So I kind of like pondered on it, meditated on it, studied it a little bit, and realized that it's a really simple analogy. And I love this. It's an analogy of the rock or the river. So there's this really beautiful river. It's moving pretty steadily. It's a pretty strong current, nice. And I grew up in, I'm from Idaho. The Snake River is in my backyard. And so that's what I have in my mind, this nice big river with lots of there's trees, there's rocks, there's sticks, there's lots of debris floating in there, right? And it's moving swift. And then imagine that there's this really big boulder right in the middle of this river. It is unmoving. It is stubborn. It's not going anywhere. And it's been there for who knows how many years, decades, centuries, who knows, right? It used to be this big, but because it's just been there and life just keeps going and going and going and going and going, life does not stop. This rock has started to shrink to this size because it has just been worn down by the river. But then the river itself, it just goes, this river goes. When it comes to this rock, it doesn't stop. It just parts, goes around and keeps going. It just goes. Sometimes it goes up a little bit and then it goes down really fast. Sometimes it curves, but it just goes. And so you have to look and decide, am I right now? Am I that boulder, stubborn and unmoving and trying to stand in my ways of stalling in my growth, of confusion, of frustration, of overwhelm? Am I letting myself stay in these stuck states and being worn down by life? Or am I this river who, regardless of the challenges that may arise, I just keep going? Mm-hmm. So that's what it is. Living a life of ease and flow is being the water in that river and just going. It's gonna come across challenges. You're going to have challenges in your life. Things are going to be difficult. You're going to have things come up that you never thought would, and it's okay. That's the whole point. The whole point is to find creativity within it and see where you can go and discover yourself along the way.
I love that imagery of figuring out where we are, like in that, picture right there. Because I think a lot of times been hearing that, like, we all want to probably be like, oh, I'm the river, but then it's like in every situation, am I actually the river? Mm-hmm. So it's a good analogy to like be able to think in different situations. Am I always willing to kind of go with the flow?
Mm-hmm. And then not judging it, because I have been the boulder plenty of times for sure. But if you judge yourself for it, it's just going to keep you stuck as that boulder. If you look and you realize, yep, I have been the boulder a little bit, so I'm going to kind of start easing back into the water right now. And it's okay. It's not a problem. That was just a situation. And now I'm ready to move on. I'm ready for growth.
So how can you, so if someone's watching this and they're like, oh, I know I'm for sure the boulder in many situations, how can they create this kind of ease and flow in their life?
that awareness is the very first step, and it's a huge first step. So it's probably going to be really uncomfortable at first to make this realization. So if you realize that you're the boulder, let it be uncomfortable for a minute. It's okay. Discomfort is not going to kill you. It's normal. It's not fun. It's okay for it not to be fun. It's okay for it to be unpleasant. So just acknowledge that. Acknowledge that you're not super thrilled with where you've been, and you're not super happy with the answer that you are currently the boulder. And it's okay. We've all been there, and we will all be there again. You know, we kind of go through these ebbs and flows, and it's okay. So acknowledging it first, and then approaching life with a curiosity mindset. If you just open your awareness a little bit more, kind of like with a camera, you know, you can have it really narrow focus, looking far into the distance, or you can kind of widen the scope into kind of a panoramic view. So open up into that panoramic view, see the opportunities that are in front of you, and then you can decide what choices you want to make. Because people who are being the boulder, you know, myself included, I'm not excluding myself from this. Anytime you feel like you're the boulder, you are likely in a very narrow mindset. And once you open that up and you can see the opportunities and the choices, that's when you can start to step into ease and flow, because you've got options. There are always options. They might be hard, you know, in order to get you out of this stuck state, you might have to make some hard choices, but that's okay, because think of the past. What are other difficult things that you've gone through? What are some other challenges that you have made it through? Doesn't matter how gracefully you made it through, but you made it through. So rely on the confidence of those past experiences, and remember that you can do hard things. It's okay for them to be hard. It's okay for it to be uncomfortable. Get used to this discomfort and just look at your options and move forward from there.
All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in to part 1 of my interview with Megan Stoddard. I hope you were able to walk away with some awesome tips that you can start applying to your life today, ways that you can instill self-love in your life. So I just thought that was really cool of her. So next week, we're going to be talking all about hypnotherapy and how it can relate to your mindset. So she kind of talked a little bit about how she's also a hypnotherapist. So I was so curious about what this was and how she does it and how it can help your mindset. So we're going to dive right into that next week. So in the meantime, follow Megan on social media. Her Instagram handle is @themeganstoddard. So follow her there, and we'll see you back next week for part 2. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mom Talks with Krista. If you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. It should be down here somewhere. We release new episodes every single Wednesday. And if you're not following us yet, be sure to follow us at Mommy Knows Best on Instagram. And remember, if you're watching this and doubting yourself, you are a great mom. So thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week.